And then in 2010, I'd basically started setting up my own record label quite a bit before that, called Street Soul Productions, and it wasn't like grand scheme or anything like that, but I decided that I wanted to set up a podcast, and this was like when they didn't really exist. This was using Podomatic, and it wasn't a thing. And I I tried to understand it, and I think actually we created something quite good. And I'd said to myself, right, within 6 months, I want to make a live event off the back of this podcast. And I did one DJ night, and then within the space of that time, I applied for Arts Council funding, and I got it, and I got $5 grand to set up an event.
Wow.
So I set up Basement Sessions Live, because the podcast is called Basement Sessions, and we took over Space 2 in Digbeth, and like it was just nuts. It's like, so basically it was all four corners of hip hop. So like we had break dancers, so like we had MC and DJ, and we had like live graffiti outside, which was auctioned off.
Deep.
Like we had like a game section, like retro gaming and clothes and all sorts. It was amazing, and it's like I did that, but I ended up basically getting on the radar of someone who was setting up a media center in Bristol. So he said, look, I really want to set up a hip hop festival, but know nothing about hip hop. So that we linked up, and I started up a festival in Bristol for young people called the XLR Festival, and it was a week-long hip hop festival. And it was great. We had so many local acts come in and did some brilliant things. It ran for 5 years. And I mean, the first one we had like massive budget. It was kind of before all of the crash within the arts and so on, and it went really, really well. And then the next one, I think we went from like 10 grand budget to like 600 quid the next year. And the
Wow.
second one was genuinely better than the first. I think because the community that by that point had really invested in it. So we ended up doing some amazing things on that front. And with the artists who came out of that, I think one of the most prominent artists who emerged from that was Gardner. And like he was 15 at that point, and like he traveled from Bath to come along, and he basically won our competition. And off the back of that, he ended up where he got sponsored for various things, got like clothing stuff, like various deals, promo, all of this stuff, and it launched him as a 15-year-old artist. A video from Chris Lucas and all of this stuff. So like it was an amazing opportunity, but like that festival really kind of gave me the energy to push forwards with it. And moved to Bristol not that long after that. And I did a similar thing to what I was doing in Birmingham, in the sense that Colston Hall is the equivalent of Symphony Hall. So I was working with them. I was doing workshops with them for a long time, and working at the media centre, and doing freelance stuff and various other things, just kind of doing the typical like piece together stuff. And I was doing quite a lot of at-risk and NEAT support work as well. And then it just kind of built from there, really. And I think I got about 5 years into self-employment, and my daughter has Down syndrome, and there was a lot of challenges surrounding that. And I just thought, you know what, I need to put the brakes on. And I just kind of settled into the media center I was working in. I was developing my program. I was continuing to get youth music funding for what I was working on, and it was just going really solidly in that sense. And I steered towards focusing more on like 16 plus, and trying to develop them. And I really like that aspect of taking artists who really do have that drive and passion, but they need that boost and that guidance to get to where they need to go. So I set up something called the XLR Collective, which was a collective of 8 young musicians, and they had a cause that they could work on. So they called it Hack a Heckle, and it's basically about heckling women. And they ran an amazing project alongside the police and various others, and they did loads of live performances, took them to Barcelona, they performed out there, went on radio, met local politicians and all sorts of things. And I think it just had some amazing stuff within that time. So yeah, I mean, it's been a real journey in that sense, and I'm really proud of the fact that every day I go to work, I know that I crafted my career through music. And as much as I'm teaching media and games. Well, I don't teach games. No one wants me to teach that, but I teach media. But I mean, because it started as a music college. It used to be access to music, and then it's become access creatives. So um, I teach music videos, and like I also work with the music students to teach sampling and various other things like that. So it's like it's a really nice mix on a weekly basis because I love media too. That's what my degree was in. So it's having that opportunity to merge all of those interests and those skills on a weekly basis, really. So yeah, it feels good. It's definitely fulfilling as much as it's a challenge.